All right. Good morning, everybody. Or I guess it's good afternoon now, not good morning. And it looks like I've got one of these cameras this one looks fine. This one looks like it's having a tough time. Shit. Okay. Well, good morning. I'm going to shut this one off. And take the load. I'm going to take the load off. Nobody should have a gun. Mr. Huber Joe. Nobody should have a gun. Well, I have a gun right back there. You want to troll me? I'll troll you, my friend. Hey, very, very cool. Welcome to the 2 Alpha Ham Radio podcast. I'm your host, Bob Radowski, better known as Bob K6UDA. And let's see. I am a 2A activist. I am a retired California cop who knows why everybody should have a gun. I am a USCCA firearms instructor, and I was an instructor back when I was a cop. I just had breakfast or lunch, so I'm sorry. I got damn. I hate that. I'm looking at myself, guys. So Ryan Warner, Mr. Huber Joe, spew, pew pew. I got it. I love it. Winger, what does the AA stand for in the podcast? Guessing Ammo Anonymous. The AA. I don't have a AA in the. It is the 2 Alpha. Is 2A, Second Amendment. Really simple, not a huge, just kind of a catchy little thing that I thought of. Because, in the ham radio world, we use the phonetic alphabet. So 2 Alpha was just a natural. Hi guys. Like I said, Bob, K6UDA, and also, all those other things that I talked about. Before we get going here, I kind of want to make the plea. If you're watching this, if you're watching the show on the after show, or the replay, if you could do me a huge favor right now, stop. Don't watch it here on YouTube. Don't watch it on Twitch. Oh yeah, streaming on Twitch today. But please, if you're watching the replay, I would love for you to go to rumble.com/K6UDA and watch this show on Rumble. This is, guys, how we change the system, is we dissolve the system. We get rid of, we put it out of their minds. For, years, never looked at Twitter. I forgot it was even around. I didn't even think it was a thing anymore. And all the lefties, they did their Twitter thing, and they were happy doing their little Twitter thing to themselves. Well, they don't want us to be happy doing our conservative thing by ourselves. So, they're going to stand around and stand up and yell and scream and say, you can't do that. Bullshit. You can. We can. And we do. So, please, Join me on Rumble if you're watching the playback of this. If you're watching here live right now, I don't have, I do have a Rumble side. I can't make it work yet in the live. I'm trying to figure it out, how to make it work and do this, but I can't get the audience. I can't get you guys in the gallery telling me what to talk about. So, yes, Garrett, I am streaming on Twitch. Does that mean you're one of those e-girls who have guys drooling over them? Oh, yeah. I'm an e-girl. That's what I guess I should name myself on Twitch. Everybody's e-girl. But yeah, streaming on Twitch, streaming over here on what is this called? YouTube. Oh yeah, that's right. I would like to forget YouTube. I would love for everybody to go over to Rumble. But hey, you know what? Let's get on with the show. Got a lot to talk about today. Man, it's just when you think that everything that we've talked about is kind of everything that's going on, more happens. And it gets more interesting. We are living in interesting times, my friends. Over the weekend, banks are collapsing in California. Golf clap. Hope you don't have any money in the the high-tech bank of Silicon Valley or something. Silicon Valley Bank. I guess they're gone or going. The acting president has suspended trading at a bunch of banks in an effort to stave off the run on money. Damn, I got something in my eye. Hang on here. Oh God, it's killing me. Let's see. New Q code Q2A, meaning got guns. I love it. You get that into the deal, John. That is beautiful. 2QA, Q2A. Beautiful. I love it. I will use that on the radio. Let's see. You know what? Let's talk about some of the stuff that we've got going on here. I am going to go over here to my... Okay, so let's switch screens here. Hey, back into Twitter. Since Elon bought Twitter, I came back. And I'm glad I did, because there's guys like Rob Romano at 2A Updates. And Rob is probably one of the guys that I really look at. This guy is on top of every piece of legislation, every court case in the entire United States. Rob, thank you. Anyway, I got the call-in screen up. If anybody wants to be live on the air, there's the number at the top of the screen there. You can call in live, be a guest on the show. Why not? So anyway, California is now at war. They've declared open war on their own cops through PORAC. They said that the president of PORAC didn't sufficiently explain how he knows that the police are commonly issued Gen 4 or 5 Glocks or any other handguns that aren't on the roster. Well, as a former law enforcement officer in the state of California who was issued Glock I was issued SIG 226s. And, every 5-10 years, most departments replace the guns that they issue. And we were offered a choice of either the Glock 17 at one time or the SIG P226. And I chose the SIG. I was never a fan of Glocks. I hated Glocks. I always thought that they were plastic, garbage, Tupperware. So I never took one. Shortly after I retired, I went back to work. But shortly after I retired, I was kind of forced into the Glock world. And I had to, I literally I bought a Glock 17, a Gen 4 Glock 17, because I'm a lefty, and a Gen 3, you can't change the mag release switch on the Glock, or on the Glock, Gen 3 Glocks. I bought a Gen 4. I put a bunch of money into it just to make it look cool so I wouldn't hate the thing as much. But what I did love about the Glocks is the capacity. I have been a 1911 guy forever. And wow, right here, my new 1911 is the Springfield Prodigy. This is cocked and locked, ready to go. It'll go back in the holster there. But guys, 17 rounds with the short magazine and 20 rounds with the bigger magazine, and then they make a 26 round mag for this, which means I don't have to worry about carrying multiple magazines. Carried 6 magazines with me on duty at work for a standard 1911. Love the platform. Happy to be back into the 1911 world with the new Springfield Prodigy. But anyway, I digress. Let's get rid of that one, and let's talk about let's see. Oh yeah, defendant objects to paragraphs 8 and 9 from the Declaration for the lack of relevance because Mr. Marvel and Porak's views on the Second Amendment are not facts of consequence in determining the action. What they're saying is there is no evidence that police departments or sheriff's departments across California are issuing 4th or 5th generation Glock pistols. Yeah, that's just not true. I know for a fact that at least my old department is issuing Glock 4 or Gen 4 and Gen 5 now. Glock pistols. They're issuing newer off-roster Sig Sauers. I know LA County Sheriff, they're issuing Glocks, Berettas. They've got all kinds of stuff that they could kind of pick from, none of which are on the roster. So I know for a fact, and if you want to know for a fact, just go ask any cop anywhere in California, if they get issued a pistola. And if they get issued a pistola, what is it? And is it on the handgun roster? And it ain't. It ain't on the handgun roster. So let's look at a couple of here. Yeah, hey, Blast, I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, chat bots, the price. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't read this first. I'm sorry. That that was kind of dumb. Wasn't supposed to be on there for you. Oh, well. You know what? We wing it. I'm a one-man operation here. I don't have a staff of anybody that's running the board, that's doing anything. So, like if I want to, I can't change that one because that's locked in. But yeah, I it is what it is. So anyway, here is the actual declaration. Defendant's declaration saying, this is crazy stuff. Let's see. I have one more in here, and I forget which line it was. No, this is beautiful. So the plaintiffs in this case, this is the handgun roster case. They're asking the court, they're asking St. Benitez, actually, to ignore the Supreme Court's, starting at line 3 here. Plaintiffs asked this court to ignore the Supreme Court's application of its own framework and instead offer in opposite language from vacated and unpublished opinions. Holy crap, people. Really? I think that maybe they should offer the opinion as fact, as absolute fact of Mr. Huber Joe, nobody should have a gun. That's where we're at, my friends. Nobody should have a gun because Mr. Huber Joe says so. Never mind the Constitution. This is beautiful. The state of California, in its arguments, makes a great case for the plaintiffs. It is nonsensical. It lacks every ounce. I'm not a lawyer, but I can look at this and I could go, why should a court oppose or ignore the Supreme Court's framework of Bruin, and instead it should look to in opposite language from vacated and unpublished opinions that actually were here's one from here's from 2022 and 2023. So maybe they're looking, I get it. They're looking at other lower courts that have found things to be unconstitutional or constitutional, but they're getting overturned. I get it now. Let's see. Didn't know. So Zigglefingers. Didn't know they had such accommodating mag sizes for that. Yeah. We'll take a look here. We'll drop this mag. Make sure it's empty. There's the Barney bullet. So this new Springfield Prodigy, just got this not too long ago. This has become my new carry gun. This is a 1911, double stacked 1911, but it's in a smaller 9mm frame. Being a double stack here, this guy is able to handle larger capacity magazines, which, whatever firearm you've got, the magazine that it typically comes with is the standard capacity magazine. Now, this happens to come with one 17 round and one 20 round magazine. So it's two different standard capacity magazines. I kind of like this 17 round for carry because the 20 round magazine, the base plate sticks out a little bit further, which means it sticks out a little bit further under your clothing if you're carrying concealed like I do. Let's see. It is important. Yeah, I'd have a gun, but I'm afraid I'd shoot my eye out. So, Robert Werner, I'd have a gun, but I'm afraid I'll shoot my eye out. Well, if you point it at your eye and you pull the trigger, you'll shoot your eye out. I can almost guarantee it. Garrett says, I went to the gun store on Saturday and I saw that Turkish manufacturer Gearsan made an almost exact copy of the Prodigy. It didn't look as nice though. Wow, that's crazy. Because the Prodigy is almost an exact copy of the Staccato, which costs twice as much, about $3,000 for a Staccato. This is about $1,300 or $1,400. Good shooting pistol. I had a few hiccups. It's it's a 1911, so you got to break them in. You can't just you can't just go out and expect it to be 100% right off the get. You need to put 1,000 rounds or so through them, and then they break in, they loosen up, the springs start working right, the extractor's getting happy, everything's getting happy with those. So anyway, but we're not talking about the Springfield. Oh, and I did. This thing comes stock with suppressor height sights on it, and this little green. Here. Let me. It comes stock with this little green deal on it. Fiber optic sight, which works very good. A completely black, and remember, it's open, it's safe. There's nothing in it. On the back, it's just a black rear sight, and you can't exactly see what I can't show you exactly what the Hollow Sun is showing me, but it's a beautiful, beautiful picture from here. When I look at it, gorgeous picture. I'll put that down there. I would hate to see what a copy of this looks like that's not as nice. I know that there's an Israeli one called a bar for, what is it, 420 or 416 or 4 something like that, which is a little bit better quality of this firearm. The Staccato and the Springfield share magazines. The bar does not. You got to use its own or its brand of magazines. Wow. See what happens when I do this and I'm winging it. I'm completely winging it. I lose it. So anyway, California has made this very crazy argument against Porak, who the only reason Porak came out against this again is the fact that the California legislature now figures they don't need law enforcement anymore. They could do everything themselves, and they don't need the backing. So they came out with a new bill that's working its way through California to basically tell cops or say cops, you can't buy an off-roster handgun anymore. You're now just like everybody else in California. This was how California got law enforcement to buy off on that in the first place. Well, anyway, new bill going through California right now. This one is kind of interesting. This new bill in California is, and I don't have it up in front of me. If you want to buy a gun in California, you will within 30 days have to disclose a list of every firearm that you currently own to buy a gun. I will tell you that this is most likely going to get challenged if it passes, and it'll most likely be considered unconstitutional under the Fourth Amendment, under search and seizure, because they are essentially, they're creating a gun registration illegally, and it's a backdoor registration scheme, and it's also causing you to disclose what your personal property is to the state under duress. So it's all bad. I see bad things. I see bad people. James Hannibal in the house. Let's jump in here. Hey, it looks scary. It must be an assault model. Yes, James, the new assault pistols, they're black and they're scary, and they have things on top. That must be what they mean by an assault pistol. I don't know. God. Let's see what else. What else were we going to talk about today? I remember. Hang on. Yes. Here's something that we can all get behind as 2A guys. The state of Minnesota is currently debating a bill in their house that would require legislators who write gun bills to know how guns work. Basically, they have to take some kind of a firearms safety class or a firearms knowledge class, unless they could possibly pass some type of a quiz or a test that shows that they have basic familiarity with firearms and that they know how they work. What a great idea for the state of California. And for you folks that still live behind enemy lines in the formerly great state of California, there is a thing called the voter initiative. And you can write a bill, write your own voter initiative, get it in front of the voters, and enact something like this into law, that these guys can't just run roughshod. They can't think that a bullet smaller than this can rip the head off a body. It just ain't gonna happen. Let's see. What else do you guys want to talk about today? I'm kind of, I don't know. I had this all worked out, and now it's all kind of falling apart. This show is just a mess. Let's go look at some of these. Look at the comments from the peanut gallery here. Let's see. I'm not really seeing anything that. So yeah, Ryan, it's a violation. Of course it is. Almost everything that California does is a violation. It's in direct opposition of the Constitution of the United States. I don't know how they get away with it. Well, I do. They've gotten away with it for so long because nobody has challenged them in court. Nobody's taken them to court up until the last few years. Suing was just kind of one of those things. You had to have somebody willing to do the deep pockets and be the plaintiff. And now we have FPC, GOA is jumping in there doing things. The NRA, man, they had dropped the ball long ago. And they wrote off California. They wrote off New York. It's a shame. Because we could have stopped them years ago. We could have done something, but for the sheeple who just go along and turn in their guns or turn in their vests, do what they're told, don't make waves, don't speak up. Yeah. James, the only thing you can still freely purchase in California is muzzle loaders. And I don't even think he means muzzle loaders. I think it's muscle loaders, which, I don't know. A little bit of steroid, maybe. Who knows? Thomas says why we should support gun organizations, local and national. Yeah, that's exactly why. I'm a big proponent in put your money where your mouth is, and I give to FPC, I give to the GOA, I give to a couple of other gun organizations. I give to the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, because these people are actively out there doing things. I'm a life member of the NRA. Gave them money a long time ago. Used to give them money a lot. Every time they called, I'd give them money. And I haven't given them any money now for, 3 years, maybe more, 3-4 years, because they've dropped the ball. They don't do anything. They're not doing anything for us. 18 people in the house right now, 8 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down. I'd like to see 18 thumbs up. Coming right in here. Wesley Erickson, being an old dog, I love my 1911, but my daughters lured me over to the dark side of striker fired handguns. Now carry an HK. He's a former California firefighter. I'm sorry, dude. Just kidding. Now living in Arizona. AG7WQ. Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm not saying striker fire pistols are no good, but compared to this, the trigger on a 1911, the take up on this, well, let's see if I could do it from here. The take up on this is super, super smooth. And all the way through the trigger pull, super, super butter smooth. There's no grinding. There's no, it doesn't feel like there's any sand in the mechanism. And I've got Sonny's Stage 5 trigger on my Glock 19, and it's nowhere near as smooth as the base 1911, almost any decent brand. I'm a Springfield fan, got several Springfield 1911s, and I don't care. I've got $200 triggers on Glocks, nowhere near as smooth as a 1911 there. Robert, remember when they had gun clubs in high schools? They still do. I know where in Loomis, California, there's they still have, well, a trap club or trap club at the school, and they do a lot of competitions and everything. Here in Idaho, shooting sports is huge, very, very big, and the high schools participate with teams and everything. It's great. Fernando Cano, how many times have you used your weapons to defend yourself? Well, using your weapon to defend yourself is it's a very open term, my friend. In law enforcement, I have pulled that thing daily, pointed at people daily. Used one once, or fired one once. It's not like we're in Afghanistan where it's lawlessness and you're getting into shooting, or you're getting into shootings every day. It doesn't happen. Getting into a shooting in law enforcement in America is a once or twice in a career kind of a thing. It just doesn't happen. Personally, though, walking into situations, I've walked into a couple of houses in my off time of friends or family that had been broken into, and having that out and drawn, but not pointing at anybody, having that is a defensive use of it, is a defensive use with it. So you're not, it's not like we're getting into shootings every day. We're not getting into shootings. And anybody that tells you otherwise is lying. Even LAPD, LA County. Yeah, I've seen the TV shows and they're all bullshit. Nobody's getting into shootings because, number one, get into a shooting and you got 5 days off. Automatically, you've got an investigation. You got all kinds of stuff going on. It's no bueno. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody's looking to be there. But on the other hand, everybody wants to have a good quality tool in their tool belt. And I would imagine that all of you want to have a good quality tool in your tool belt when, when shit hits the fan. And you should be allowed to. If you're a lefty like me, this is a problem for me, is being a lefty. I have to break. If I had a mag release on this side, and I'm going to order the kit that does this, but if I had a mag release on this side, I could not break my grip, trigger the, press the mag release, the magazine would drop, and I could change magazines. As it is right now, on this model, I have to break my grip to press the magazine release right there and drop the mag. Likewise, on a base 1911, like you're looking here, there's your safety. There's your one of the safeties. There's two of them. There's a grip safety here and the thumb safety. But I'm a lefty, so I need a thumb safety here, over here, to be safe. So as a lefty, being limited to a third gen Glock is inherently more unsafe for me as a left-handed shooter. A Gen 4, Gen 5 Glock, I have the ability to swap that mag release out for a left-handed fit. And I could very easily in a couple of minutes swap that out. Let's see. James Hannibal is a southpaw too, because smarter people are left-handed. Anyway, God. Let's see. Digital Dreamer, all the way from the west coast of Hawaii, says aloha. Maybe. There we go. There it is. And good morning to you, my friend. It's 12:44 here in Mountain Time, Idaho. Anyway, the paddle mag release. The paddle mag release is one of the features that drew me to the HK. Ambidextrous, and you don't have to change your grip. Very nice. Yeah, that's great. I've never had an HK, so I don't know much about them. Haven't really looked at one. It's not something that I've ever really been tuned into. I do have a Springfield Hellcat. Great little pistol, striker fired pistol. But I'll tell you what, when compared with this side by side, it's horrible. It feels like now, and Garrett and I, we took both of them out to a little local range here when I first got the Prodigy. And the Prodigy, super smooth. It's like butter. It's a big, heavy pistol. It's got a bull barrel, and it minimizes that recoil. So you're still on target. Multiple shots. Boom, boom, boom. Still on target. The Hellcat, man, that thing jumped around like crazy. It's another 9mm. I would say close to half the size of the Prodigy. But it's nothing that I would want to shoot from 20 yards away. The thing is way, way too jumpy. It almost hurts compared to the Prodigy. The Prodigy felt very nice in my hand. Never, and Garrett, if Garrett's still in there, and I don't know because he's working, he could attest to how smooth the Prodigy was. And honestly, guys, I was going to pony up the money for the Staccato, but they're a little hard to come by, and it was $2,800, where this was $1,300. A much better buy. It's not quite the same quality as a Staccato. I get it. I totally get that. But I'm very, very comfortable with a Springfield. I'm a big fan. They make quality stuff. You know, maybe it's not a Les Bear, maybe it's not a Wilson Combat, but it is a very, very good. It's a very good tool. Fernando, thank you for your response. Hey, you're welcome, dude. I'm here to educate as much as entertain. Digital Dreamer, my on duty was the 40 cal Glock 23. He still loves it to this day. Good. I'm not a fan of 40s. I had the SIG, and I got to say it was that 40 caliber was just, it was jumpy, snappy, very snappy in that pistol. I also have a 1911, another Springfield 1911 in a 40, and I choose not to carry it because, again, it's a very snappy round. That first round is okay. It's those follow-ups that you've got to reacquire. There's a lot of reacquiring. Justin just bought an M&P Shield 9 for daily carry this weekend. Good. If, I'm not going to talk shit on anything if it's what you want. If it's what you wanted, and KE0, I would tend to think you're not in California. So if you're not in California, then you chose the M&P Shield because that's what you wanted. It's what you chose, not what California chose for you. And this is why I so oppose the handgun roster, because California is trying to basically get rid of everything. Ryan would have thought the Prodigy would have been ambi or at least convertible out of the box at that price. Well, it is. Ryan, it does have an ambi safety, but the mag releases, you've got to get, let me show you the mag release on this side, and let me refocus here, and we'll refocus. So here's the mag release on the Prodigy, and on the other side where the mag release is, and this is how you take it apart, you've got the hole, but you've got this extra cutout here. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to do a little cutting on this to make it work. I think there's probably a kit. Let me see if we can't get this thing to focus back. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, rocking, baby. So, but honestly, Ryan, thumb safety there. Thumb safety there. If it didn't have this, I almost bought a Wilson at one time off the shelf. And I didn't, precisely because of that. I was going to send it off to Wilson. I would have sent it off to Wilson to have them install it, but they're so backed up. They told me it would be send them the gun, and it would be 3 to 6 months before I saw it again. When I was still working, I was going to order a Wilson, a CQB. Beautiful, beautiful 1911. Probably one of the only pistols that I regret not buying. But I decided not to because you had to pay them. They had a special law enforcement price. I think of like $2,500-ish. You gave them your money and you waited for 2 years. 2 years, my friends, to get a Wilson Combat that was built to my specifications. I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to tie up $2,500 for 2 years to get a pistol that I would have, sometimes been afraid to use. Because if you used it on duty and you did get into that shooting, you're giving that gun up for it could be years while it's in evidence. And yes, they do. The gun that you use in an on-duty shooting does get booked into evidence, and they give you another gun. If in my case I had a 1911, I would have to supply my own new gun because I supplied my 1911, or go back to one of my issued guns. Let's see. Thomas says his 1911 Kimber 45s jumps pretty good. His 226 in 357 seems to recoil straight back and extremely accurate. The 45, the Kimber 45, if it's a full size, you're probably weak wristing it. We call it limp wristing, and that'll cause all kinds of issues with a 1911. You cannot. That's why a lot of females don't shoot 1911s, because they don't have wrists that can lock out as strong, or a lot of them don't. I'm not going to say none of them, but a lot of women have trouble limp wristing a 1911, and you cannot limp wrist a 1911. You can limp wrist a Glock, a SIG, a Beretta with no problem. But a 1911, you can't. You've got to be a solid shooter to do that. The 226 in 357. Wow. I've never seen a 226 in 357. It sounds interesting. I have a 226 in 9. I had a 226 in 40, which I sold, and now I'm down to my last 40, which is a Springfield 1911, and it's for sale if anybody wants a very, very nice Springfield 1911 in 40 cal. And it's a commander size. Let's see. Digital Dreamer. Again, he loves his Kimber 1911 in 45 auto, which he carried in Iraq because he was allowed to as a civilian military contractor. Cool. And when you say a civilian military contractor, is that kind of like a Blackwater contractor, or is that like truly construction type guy? Don't know. It's the CDP. Okay. I had the CDP too. Thomas. And how do I say this? A worse firearm I have never fired. I had problems with that going. It would not go into battery half the time. It would stop before it went fully into battery, where it would stop like right back there, not go into battery. I'll pull that back. And I had to slam it shut to get it to work. I ended up putting it came stock with an 18-pound recoil spring. I ended up putting a 21-pound recoil spring in it. Went back and forth with Kimber's law enforcement side. And when I told him, I think I fixed it with a 21-pound spring. And he said, you can't run a 21-pound spring in that gun. You'll crack the frame. I ended up selling that thing, and I bought the Springfield EMP in 40 cal, which I have to this day. And I just don't carry it because I'm not a fan of that 40. Just not a big fan of the 40. Let's see. Digital Dreamer. When he shot for Glock's GSSF, I don't know what that is. He used a doctored up Glock 34 and could slide the slide with only one finger, and so accurate. Yeah. Glocks are accurate. You can hot rod those things up, but the triggers are never going to be, it's never going to be a 1911. And I've got two Glocks. I have one that I got over $2,500 into a Glock 17. It's beautiful. It runs great for a Glock, but it ain't a 1911. Okay. And you just confirmed to me what you did. Thanks. Thank you for your service. Let's see. Oh, Glock Sports Shooting Foundation. Okay. Very, very cool. That's awesome. Man, Todd, I'd love to have you call into the show one day, one of these days. You can right now. I'll put the number up on the screen there, and let me put it up here. If you want to call in, you can call in. You could tell us all about Glock Shooting Sports Foundation, and I'll throw my interview screen up. Oh no, that's what I should have done. Well, I could, we could do it either way. Doesn't matter. Anyway, guys, oh wow, 1,300. We wasted enough time, guys. I want to thank you so much for joining me. The lunch hour's over, and Todd, you've got my other number. You don't have this number. This is the show call-in number. Guys, again, I want to put up this little screen here and remind you, if you've made it this far into the show and you're, or whatever, please, help support me, help support the show, by going to Rumble and subscribing to me on Rumble. Hey, I still have, and where is it? I don't know where I put it. Should have been here around here somewhere, but I still have the little meter that I'm giving away when I hit 1,000 subscribers on Rumble. Anyway, guys, that's it. Let's just James, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I'm losing money on these. And you guys know I monetize YouTube on the ham radio side because it helps with all the stuff that I got to buy to keep this show running and to keep it looking and sounding as good as it does. And I always want to make it better. But I absolutely lose money doing this because, number one, I can't monetize this, at least over here. Once I get things going and we get an audience built on Rumble where I can do this exclusively on Rumble, I think the sky's the limit for this stuff. I think we can make a 2A channel rock, and I would love to be able to tell YouTube pound sand, completely, and make all my videos Rumble videos. That would be freaking awesome. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna say 7-3 goodbye for any of you that aren't hams and don't know what 73 is. Most of you do. Almost every single one of you at this point in time realizes that it's still a ham radio show. And if you have anything you want to talk about ham radio related on this show or on these podcasts, let me know. I will see you guys next week. I'm Bob, K6UDA. I'm out of here. 7-3.